Nigeria threatens to review relationship with Indonesia after assault on diplomat. Lagos records 42 COVID-19 deaths in 1 week. And New York Governor Andrew Cuomo resigns. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. The federal government has demanded appropriate punitive measures for Indonesian immigration officials who were filmed assaulting a Nigerian diplomat. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, made a demand at a briefing in Abuja on Tuesday. Our correspondent, Abisola Adebayo, tells us more.
This is the viral video of the Nigerian diplomat being manhandled in Indonesia, which has sparked anger from Nigerians and the federal government. Abdurrahman Ibrahim, a consular officer based in Jakarta, is seen struggling to breathe as he is pinned down in a vehicle by several men identified as immigration officers.
I can't breathe! My neck! My neck! My neck! My neck!
Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema, who condemned the act, says it is a breach of diplomatic immunity which is unacceptable. Onyema also gave an account of what led to the assault, as told by Nigeria's ambassador to Indonesia.
He was apparently in the streets, and they came up to him because the Indonesian immigration officials, we understand, around this time, that they are going around looking for illegal immigrants. So he now got into the car with them and was going with them to their office. Now, at that point, as we understand it, he was left alone. He was not in any way, shackled or anything like that. But at a certain point, he felt that they had passed where he understood their office was, and they should have been going, and they proceeded beyond that. So he panicked and thought this might be a case of kidnap, and so he, apparently, started to shout in the strongest terms regarding what had taken place. Totally unacceptable under any circumstances whatsoever.
The minister says Nigeria will be recalling its ambassador to Indonesia for further consultations, which will include a review of Nigeria's relations with Indonesia.
What we have decided to do is to recall for consultations immediately our Nigerian ambassador in Jakarta in Indonesia. And we will have full consultations at the highest level and decide what next steps to take, including a review, of course, of our relations with Indonesia.
The Foreign Affairs Ministry earlier announced that Indonesia's ambassador to Nigeria has apologized to the victim and the Nigerian government on behalf of the country and the immigration officials responsible for the assault. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Abuja.
Still on bilateral relations, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria and Vietnam can benefit immensely and deepen their friendly relationships with the opportunities existing in agriculture and technology in both countries. Osinbajo said this during a courtesy visit by Ambassador of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam to Nigeria, Long Quo, at the presidential villa in Abuja on Monday. The Vice President also noted that other areas of collaboration between Nigeria and Vietnam would be in the interaction of young people actively engaged within the technology space in both countries. In his remarks, the Vietnam diplomat commended Nigeria's role in Africa as being enormous. He further expressed hopes that Nigeria would soon recognize Vietnam as a country of full market economy and both countries could sign an agreement on investment, promotion and protection. Members of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees and other party members have been meeting in a bid to resolve the issues threatening the unity of the party. At the meeting held at the party secretariat in Abuja on Tuesday, the BOT members urged all party faithful to put aside their differences in the interest of the party and find ways to forge ahead.
We are all aware of our problem, the problem affecting this party, which we should never allow to continue. Whatever we can do today, we might try all that we can to solve the problem of this party, please. Therefore, we should put away all our personal interest base and only discuss for the benefits of our party.
I'm assuring you on behalf of the PDP caucus in the House of Representatives that we are solidly behind you and we are not moving anywhere no matter the intimidation. None of us is crossing again. We are standing by the party.
One thing I want to assure all of you is that PDP is a party that belongs to everyone. And PDP is a party that can reinvent himself at all given times. So nothing will be difficult to resolve. And we are on the pathway to bring Nigeria good news of peace that will reign in this party. Because
amid a crisis rocking its National Working Committee lately, the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, has kicked off the pilot scheme of its electronic registration and revalidation of members. The portal was launched at a ceremony at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja on Monday. Our correspondent Onyadekule in this report tells us more.
As the 2023 general elections draw near, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has repeatedly expressed confidence that it will once again regain central power. In a bid to win the hearts of more Nigerians and attract more members, particularly youths, the main opposition party has now launched an e-registration portal. Embattled national chairman of the party, Uche Secondus, who is currently facing calls to resign his position, takes the lead by registering first.
Congratulations, sir.
Secondus says this is a message to the world that the PDP is ready to reposition Nigeria economically and structurally.
This program and this launch is specifically meant for a new generation of Nigerians, a new generation of PDP. We have learnt a lot, we have studied a lot, and believe that the only way to go is to make sure that we occupy the digital space so that the young ones can interact with us, so that the young ones can take over. If we must win the election in 2023, this is one technology that we must adopt.
The newly launched portal allows interested individuals to register as PDP members from any part of the world. Secondus stresses the need for parties to embrace online registration of members, saying it is key to strengthening democracy.
You can join this party online and be a member. It is absolutely amazing. We must learn how to conduct our affairs digitally, because that is what the occasion and the time we're occupying now demands. So I want to encourage our leaders, especially the youths, the upcoming leaders of our party, that this is the time to join this party.
Some other party members at the launch also expressed their thoughts on the recent crisis rocking the party.
Let the relevant bodies, the relevant stakeholders, the power brokers come to understanding, and at the end of the day, the result will be the best. I'm a party man, and I remain a party man to the core. I'm a PDP faithful. Whatever the governors and the relevant stakeholders arrived, if they arrived that the chairman should stay, who am I to say no? If they arrived that the chairman should go, who equally am I to say no? But the best is for the party to move forward.
There's no family that doesn't have issues. And when you have issues in any family, all you do is to find a way to settle it. I think it's not just all about resigning and not resigning. All we needed to do is let us manage it. After all, the convention is very close. For me personally, I will be glad that we manage this issue until after the convention.
The first scheme of the online registration will be conducted in Anambra, Osun, Ekiti, Edo, amongst others. Onyi Adekunle, TV360, Nigeria.
The Progressive Governors Forum has called on members of the National Association of Resident Doctors (NAD) to suspend their ongoing strike action. The forum, led by Kebbi State Governor Abubakar Bagudu, supported a call by the federal government through the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, for the immediate suspension of the strike to allow negotiations to continue. The forum, in a statement released on Tuesday, appealed to the resident doctors to negotiate with individual state governments, while issues affecting resident doctors in federal establishments should be negotiated with the relevant structures of the federal government. The National Association of Resident Doctors embarked on an indefinite nationwide strike on August 2nd over issues of poor welfare. And now to security matters. Another 1,081 Boko Haram terrorists, including senior commanders and their families, have surrendered to troops of Operation Hadinkai after sustained military land and air bombardment of their hideouts in northeast. Director Army Public Relations Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, who confirmed the development in a statement, revealed that one Musa Adamu, a chief bomb expert for the insurgents, was also part of the surrendering terrorists. Nwachukwu said they were received by the Acting General Officer commanding 7th Division of the and Commander Sector 1 Operation Hadinkai, Brigadier General Abdulwahab Iyitayo in Bama, Borno State. According to Iyitayo, they will undergo some rehabilitation process at a government facility before reintegration into the larger society. Now, earlier we spoke to a security expert, Kabiru Adamu, on the wave of Boko Haram fighters and their families surrendering to Nigerian soldiers and what troops must continue to do to sustain the fight against insurgency.
One key area is the weaponry and the equipment that our military are using. It is unfathomable and unacceptable that till date our military are still being transported in soft vehicles. No country that is at war should allow its military to be transported in soft vehicles. They need protected vehicles, armored vehicles. They also need protective gear on their bodies. Likewise, the weapons that they are using. Now, once we do that, the next stage to look at is platforms that would allow speedy deployment during reinforcement operations. So let's say a forward operating base is attacked. One of the best ways to repel that attack is to deploy.
Renowned security experts and chairman of Transworld Security Systems, Ona Ekomo, has died at the age of 66. Ekomo passed away on Monday after a brief illness. The renowned expert was the first chartered security professional in West Africa, and until his death, he was the president of the Association of Industrial Security and Safety Operations of Nigeria and the Africa representative of the International Foundation for Protection of Officers. The deceased was famous for his mastery of security issues, as well as thorough analysis in security writing. Let's take a break here, but still to come, Nigerians lament rising cost of cooking gas. Details of this and more after the break.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those that are civilized.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency project. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Well, let's now take a recap of some of our top stories. The federal government has demanded appropriate punitive measures for Indonesian immigration officials who were filmed assaulting a Nigerian diplomat. At a briefing in Abuja on Tuesday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, announced that Nigeria's ambassador to Indonesia has also been summoned to give a detailed account of the assault. We also told you that another 1,081 Boko Haram terrorists, including senior commanders and their families, have surrendered to troops of Operation Hadinkai after sustained military land and air bombardment of their hideouts in the northeast. According to the army, they will undergo some rehabilitation process at a government facility before reintegration into the larger society.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the president of the federal republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
And now to COVID-19 updates and stories. The Lagos State government has revealed that in the last 1 week, at least 42 persons have died from COVID-19 related complications in the state. In the data made available by the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Akin Abayomi, out of the 2,368 tests which were conducted on the 8th of August, 219 new COVID-19 infections were confirmed, bringing the state's total tally to 66,241. With this rising trend in infections, the state government said it is creating more isolation centers to address rising cases of COVID-19 in the state. We'll take another break here and return with more stories and business. To stay with us. Well, up next is business stories and stock market review with Mary Kanu. Over to you, Mary.
Thank you very much, Folashade. And in business, in recent times, liquefied petroleum gas, popularly known as cooking gas, has seen a steady price hike. And to this end, some Nigerians have chosen to use alternate fuel sources such as charcoal or firewood, which has raised more health and environmental concerns. Well, details in this next report.
51-year-old Joseph Itomi is one of many cooking gas retailers in Lagos, Nigeria. He makes a living buying cooking gas from wholesalers and then sells to local residents who use it either for personal use or for commercial purposes. But recently, business has been badly affected by the hike in price of cooking gas. It tells us that a 12 kg cylinder of cooking gas, which used to retail at 4,800 naira, now sells for 6,800 naira.
Customers coming here to buy now, instead of buying that 12.5, they will condescend to buy 6 kg. So it's affecting us seriously. So people that is now buying 6 kg, we not tell you, okay, if you can you give me 2 kg, can you give me 3 kg? It has been affecting us. They are now trying to go into charcoal for them now to sustain their family and all that. If before now gas have been the cheapest.
We caught up with one of Mr. Utomi's customers, a restaurateur in the inner suburbs of Lagos. Me and You, as she is fondly called, explained that the hike in price of cooking gas has forced her to consider other alternative cooking fuels.
Gas now is too expensive. I cannot cook. Even this morning I went to Weather for them to be a co-pot for me. At least let me try charcoal for 1 week. If I buy 1 bag of charcoal, then I will now compare it with gas. And I believe gas, charcoal is even better now, not even need of. The gas is going up every day.
While the use of charcoal and firewood might be a quick fix for many Nigerians, the health and environmental consequences are enormous, and like medical experts have warned, might take a lifetime to reverse.
When used on a long term, the use of the alternate means like the charcoal, the firewood, like I said, leads to the production of carbon monoxide. Now, apart from the interaction of the carbon monoxide with the blood system, it also gets into the human lungs. And over the period of time, that smoke can lead to complications such as lung cancers, such as obstructive pulmonary diseases, and such, of course, bronchitis. So there are a lot of respiratory issues or complications that can result from the long-term use of firewood because of the exposure to carbon monoxide.
Since Nigeria imports more than half of its cooking gas, the demand for scarce foreign exchange puts more pressure on marketers who import the product. The end result is a hike in importation costs, which trickles down to the retailers and then the final consumers. Folashade Ogrinde, TV360 News.
And in a similar development, airline operators have also raised concerns over the rising price of aviation fuel, otherwise called Jet A1, as it reaches 315 naira per litre at some airports. Aviation industry experts fear this could trigger a further rise in airfares. Experts have blamed the rise in aviation fuel price on inability of airline operators to have easy access to forex, airport taxis, among others, and are calling for proper coordination among relevant government agencies in monitoring and enforcement of all standards along the supply chain. And joining me now to speak more on this development is Samuel Kolkrick, aviation expert and former rector of Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria. Thank you for joining us on the news. Now, airlines are yet to recover from the aftermath of the coronavirus pandemic, and now the cost of aviation fuel is rising. What does this mean for the aviation sector and operators?
I think the real problem is we're not discussing it. There's an elephant in the room, and that is the exchange rate. The exchange rate mechanism has not been favorable to the Nigerian economy, that is in general. So until we address that, because we're not the only people importing fuel. About 90% of the whole world are all importing fuel. So, but because our currency is not stable, the government just devalued. The incomes of people are still stagnant, based on the old rates. So, and government is the largest seller of forex in the economy. So the CBN will have to come in, if they don't want the aviation to die, to see how they can subsidize aviation fuel, just like every other thing. But we need to revisit the exchange rate mechanism.
All right, Samuel Kolkrick, aviation expert and former rector of Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria. Thank you very much for your time. But we'll take a break here and return with a review of the stock market. Don't go away. investors were optimistic of a rebound, and well, they have it, as the equities market has hit the 39,000 points and the bull has reaffirmed its dominance in the market. The all-share index ended on a positive note, marginally up 1.58%, with over 317 billion naira gained by investors. Now, the gains came largely on the back of Airtel Africa and Cavathin, with combined gains of over 65 naira, as losses from the previous day's trading were erased. Now, today's activity chart saw 474 million shares exchange hands in 4,161 deals. Now, despite the gains recorded, the duo of Julie and Livestock led 16 other losers to top the losers list. Now, on the global scene, despite Monday's mixed finish, the US, UK and Asian stocks are all trading in the green as investors look toward a Senate $1.2 trillion infrastructure spending vote scheduled for later today. Now, that's why the UK stock FTSE is currently trading at 0.40%. The US stock Dow Jones is trading at 0.36%, while Asian stock Nikkei is currently trading at 0.24%. Well, that's all on the review of the stock market. Back to Folashade for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you very much, Mary, for that update. On the foreign scene, embattled New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has announced his resignation after a report from the state's Attorney General alleged he sexually harassed multiple women. In a live address, a 63-year-old Cuomo said his resignation will be effective in 14 days while insisting that he did nothing wrong. Kate Okul, a Democrat, will serve the rest of his term and will be the state's first female governor. And now to the sporting scene. Lionel Messi has agreed to join Paris Saint-Germain on a 2-year contract. The 6-time Ballon d'Or winner arrived in Paris on Tuesday afternoon to seal his move to the French club on a 2-year deal with an option for a third worth £25 million per year after tax plus bonuses. Messi had 2 other options after leaving Barcelona last week, but has opted to join PSG with their potential to compete for major trophies, including the Champions League. In an effort to keep promoting table tennis, the Lagos State Table Tennis Association, under the chairmanship of Tunji Lawal, has organized a 2-day event to discover new talents. The event, which drew over 100 entries, was held at the tennis section of the Lagos County Club and concluded on Monday. In the men's singles final, 2016 Ashoju Oba champion defeated Muiz Adegoke to claim the title, while Bose Odunsoya edged out Kehinde Oyeniyi to claim the women's singles title.
The next thing we want to do is to set about the next tournament, which will not be too far from what we have done. Because if you put these kids into regular tournaments and where they are playing competitively, it will help us to improve and discover what we intend to discover in them.
The best thing to do now is what we are doing, because if you can recap, since Edo 2020 and the Catch Them Young ought to be on board. Even before now, I can say that we are doing it for the purpose of those who are extremely young, the likes of 8-10 years old. Catch them young. If you can do that, if Nigeria, Lagos State especially, at least once in a month, it's not too bad.
I need to wrap on our news bulletin. Thank you for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.